Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your newly rebranded podcast, Just a Bit Outside your brand new home for everything Brewers and baseball. I am Bombs Away Brant. To my left is Alex Smoke, and further on is Alex Mraz. I'm glad to have you guys on. It's good to have you guys.
Glad to be on. Good to be here.
Yeah. The Brewers took care of business over the weekend, winning the series over the Phillies 2-1. Friday night was a Jacob Misiorowski complete game shutout with 15 strikeouts. 6-0 the final. Saturday night, the Brewers fell 9-8 to the Phillies, and on Sunday, they rebounded with a 4-0 shutout win. Kyle Harrison pitched a gem. Jackson Chourio and Blake Perkins also had good games. And how good has Jackson Chourio been in the month of June and in the last 2 weeks, honestly?
He's been unbelievable. I mean, he's slashing 394, 438, 818 in his last 15 games. 818 slugging percentage. It's just unbelievable. And I think with how the Brewers were, I don't want to say struggling, because obviously they're still winning a lot of games, but their offense wasn't quite to the point where you think it could be, and just having him back has injected something into that lineup, and you started to see other guys perform really well too. And just having Chourio back's been unreal for the Brewers. And we saw it this weekend. Obviously, he hit 3 home runs over the last 2 games, and it's been unreal. So
former top 5 prospect in baseball, Chourio, only 22 years old still. People forget about that because this is his 3rd year in the big leagues, but he's only 22, and he's batting over 320 right now, and it's just been an unbelievable season for Chourio, even with missing the first month of the season.
He's already had 2 WAR on the season, in just 35 games after missing all of April, so unreal.
Brewers got a big swing off the bat of Blake Perkins yesterday, a 3-run homer off for Christopher Sanchez in the 4th inning that really broke the game open, and that is really good as a Brewers fan to see out of Blake Perkins, who's been struggling so far this year.
Yeah, Perkins has had a rough 2026. Not seeing a lot of playing time, but when he hasn't been very effective. But Murph threw him in there with all of his success against Christopher Sanchez in the past, and he launched a huge 3-run homer to give him a nice cushion in the game.
Yeah, Blake Perkins has really owned Christopher Sanchez in his career. He is 6 for 7, 3 doubles, and a home run in his career against Christopher Sanchez. And Christopher Sanchez is one of the premier pitchers in the National League, and I don't want to say that Blake Perkins is not all that, but he is not one of your premier hitters in the big leagues. And to see, and that's just baseball, honestly. Yeah. You got guys that'll just, for some reason, they see the ball better against other pitchers.
I think this kind of goes just back to the overall point, a testament to the Brewers and how well they stick by their guys. It's been a theme, and Perkins he's been around. I think this is his 4th full season now with the Brewers in the big leagues, and he's definitely not having his most productive season. He's had a lot bigger impact in the past few years, but still just having him around the team. Obviously, we know the impact he can have defensively, but credit to him and credit to the Brewers for sticking by him and staying ready. And when his name gets called, going into the lineup, getting multiple extra base hits off Sanchez yesterday. He continues to hit really well off him, and continue to, like I was saying, stay ready and still provide value to the team where he can, even in a bit of a down year for him.
Yeah, great to see from Perkins yesterday. Hopefully he can keep that up. Kyle Harrison threw a gem yesterday. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits allowed, no earned runs, no walks, only 3 strikeouts, but he had mid-command all day. Kyle Harrison was roughed up in Vegas against the Athletics last week, so it's good to see him bounce back at sea level. I know he even mentioned in his press conference he was glad to be back at sea level. I think that just goes to show that Kyle Harrison is not your typical young pitcher. He's had experience, even though it may not seem like it. He's the most experienced pitcher with playing time on the Brewers. And I think Chris Hook has done some magic to him there after they brought him over from Boston. He's had his best year of his career so far. Really, I think that just is a testament to what the Brewers can do with pitching and how they can compose a young starter like that after a really rough outing.
Absolutely, and we saw it, obviously, we're seeing it with Harrison now, but saw it last year too with Quinn Priester, another guy came over from the Red Sox, and he had experience in the big leagues, but nothing to the point of where he was performing last year, so really cool to see again, like you were saying, credit to Chris Hook and then the rest of the Brewers pitching staff for just what they can do with a young arm and helping them mature beyond their years and see much more experience than they really are. Because, like you were saying, Kyle Harrison's 25 years old?
I believe he's around 25.
Yeah, which is crazy to see how well he's doing and how composed he is out there, so. Well, after the Brewers took down the Phillies yesterday for the series win, got a bit more good news out of the organization. Cooper Pratt, a prospect for the Brewers, who was recently extended to a long-term deal, was announced that he was going to be called up starting tomorrow with the series against the Guardians. So, Smoke, tell us a little bit about how good Pratt's been so far with the Nashville Sounds this year and what Brewers fans can maybe expect out of now that he's up at the big league club.
Pratt in 2026 with the Sounds is slashing a 241 average and a 349 on base percentage with 6 home runs. And he's also stolen 17 bases, so he's been showing that ability to steal a lot of bases like the Brewers love to do.
Yeah, it really fits that Brewers identity. Scrappy player, steals bases, is going to give you a sacrifice hit here and there. Doesn't strike out a lot. Its strikeout rate around 15%, I believe. And really, I think he's going to fit in with the lineup, and the left side of the infield struggles with Rengifo, Ortiz, and Hamilton not really playing all too well. Hamilton's been fine, but Ortiz and Rengifo have really been struggling. OPS is under 600. We touched on that in the last episode. And there's not been a corresponding move announced for Cooper Pratt being called up to the Major League club, but we have speculation that Luis Rengifo might be the corresponding move, whether that be a designated for assignment or a trip to the injured list. He was banged up a couple times yesterday in the win over the Phillies.
I think something else that really stuck out to me about Pratt, like you mentioned, obviously haven't been getting the production you want out of the left side of the infield, really down like in the bottom of the order, those 7, 8, 9 spots, and Pratt having, what was it, a 349 OBP, kind of a stark contrast from the batting average, got a really high on base, which just shows to me drawing a lot of walks. We mentioned the low K rate, he's got a really great eye at the plate, so just being able to provide a little bit more, getting on base to then when the lineup flips back over to guys at the top, your Bryce Terrangs or Jackson Churios, guys who are hitting the ball unbelievably well right now. You can hopefully get a little more production, get more runs across, and I think Pratt can help provide that a lot more than what we've been seeing. So,
yeah, right on.
Got a couple other promotions that happened over the weekend as well. Found out that both Andrew Fisher and Josh Adamczewski are coming up from the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers into Double A. Going to be with the Biloxi Shuckers. And Adamczewski's been great so far this year, but I think the real piece there, something the Brewers fans can really get excited about, is Andrew Fisher. And I know we've got some stats here as well if y'all want to lead into on what Fisher's been doing this year with the T-Rats, because it's been unbelievable.
Yeah, Fisher, the first-round pick out of Tennessee this year, 298 average with 20 home runs in Appleton, and his OPS is a 1.188. Unbelievable stuff he's doing. He does strike out a lot, but with the Brewers and their contact, they need a little bit of power in the lineup. We probably won't see Fisher with the Brewers this year, but you can almost pencil him in next year to be the third baseman for the Brewers.
Yeah, top 5 third base prospect in all of baseball, Andrew Fisher. As I believe he came into the season number 1 in the third base prospect rankings, slid a little bit, but I would not be surprised to see him right back up at the top. I mean, 20 home runs, that is leading all of Single A, and you just don't see that kind of power a lot in the minor leagues. And I mean, he showed it. He showed that he is better than the minor league pitching down there in Single A. And I think the Brewers, we've been calling for him to be called up to Biloxi for a few weeks now. His strikeout rate has gone down a little bit from around 42% to now 35% in Single A. But he has shown he can handle that pitching in Single A, so I'm excited to see what he can do with that promotion to Biloxi.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And just given the reputation the Southern League has for being a pitcher-friendly league, I think that'll be the equalizer for him, really see if he can keep cutting down on that K rate and keep producing power at this level. And I think the Brewers are finally ready to see that as well, with obviously giving the promotion. So definitely excited to see how he does with Biloxi.
So on Saturday, I asked Clayton about what he would think about some breakout players around the major leagues. I wanted to hear your guys' opinion of who is someone that has stood out to you around the major leagues so far this season, who's really caught your eye.
Somebody that's caught my eye, and especially since the last couple games of our series against them, Jung-Hoo Lee for the Giants. He's been really fantastic this year. Batting .331, second in the entire National League this year, and he's just been unbelievable putting the bat to the ball. He's got a really low strikeout rate. He's been slugging a little bit more this year too. Looking at his numbers from past years, he's always been really good. Got a great eye at the plate. Really good bat to ball. But it's good to see more power out of him this year. More extra base hits. He's got a couple more home runs as well, if I'm not mistaken. And just seeing that production out of him has been pretty cool. I've been able to benefit from him a little bit as well. I've had him on my fantasy team now for a few weeks. His production's been fantastic this year, and he's definitely somebody that's caught my eye.
Yeah, what do you got, Smoke?
I got 2, both coming from the Marlins. Their middle infield with Otto Lopez and Xavier Edwards. I'll start with Otto Lopez, leading the league in average with a 343 average, OPS above 850. Only 5 homers, but he does have 18 doubles, so he does have extra base hit power. I think he's been quite underrated for a while now. People are starting to see more of him. And then we also got Xavier Edwards, average right around 300, 821 OPS. Doesn't have the most power like Otto Lopez, but he's also been great for them in the middle infield, and the Marlins have been playing some really good balls of late. So
Yeah, and to add on to that point about the Marlins, we've got another guy, Max Meyer. He's been fantastic in their rotation this year. He's got one of the best strikeout per 9 rates in the MLB among starting pitchers, up over 10 there. He is walking a lot of batters. That is a bit of a concern for him, just hoping to get that control reined in a little bit more. But his ERA is still down below 3 on the season. His sweeper slider combo that he really relies on have been fantastic, and being able to work in that four-seamer as well to counter those. He's been very good as well. So, yeah, to your point, Marlins have been playing some good ball, and definitely reason for their fans to be excited. They got a lot of young talent, as we've been mentioning.
It's nice to see that Max Meyer is starting to break out this year. He's gone through some elbow injuries in the past. I know he ended up on the 60-day injured list with needing Tommy John surgery in his rookie campaign. And he's had some struggles in the past couple of years with his command and keeping the ball in the park. But it is nice to see that he's starting to finally become healthy and really tap into that potential that the Marlins drafted him for. Coming up for the Brewers, they have an off day today, but they will host the Cleveland Guardians for a 3-game series Tuesday through Thursday. Tuesday's pitching matchup is Slade Cecconi versus Robert Gasser. Cecconi is 3-5 this year with a 4.83 ERA, and Robert Gasser, who started the year in AAA Nashville, is 0-3 with a 6.38 ERA. And Gasser has been roughed up in his last few outings against the Dodgers and the Athletics. Really struggled to keep the ball in the park. I mean, everyone struggled to keep the ball in the park.
Yeah, and I think even with that, I think Gasser's been a little bit better than what the numbers show. And I'm going to see young guys take their growing pains, but I think Gasser's still got it. He's shown plenty to me to where he's still going to be a quality arm for the Brewers. Maybe not to the point where he's going to be like an ace or something, but I think we can definitely get a lot more use out of it. Hopefully, now, not facing a team like the Dodgers or playing in a ballpark like we saw in Vegas. Hopefully, back at home against the Guardians team that they are doing really well this year, obviously, but the lineup isn't necessarily all that great. Jose Ramirez is out right now with the injury, so hopefully Gasser will be able to rein it back in a little bit and put up a better stat line against guys like that. So,
yeah,
excited for Tuesday's matchup.
Robert Gasser was the headliner in the trade that we saw Josh Hader go to the San Diego Padres. Gasser came over with Esteury Ruiz, Taylor Rogers,
My favorite Brewer, Dinelson Lamet.
and Dinelson Lamet.
0 games played.
But Gasser debuted in 2024, had a solid rookie campaign in his first few starts, did end up missing the final months of the year with an elbow injury, and we saw him come back up last year, had a few struggles, but that can be expected from a guy coming off a long-term elbow injury, and then hasn't really found his footing in the big leagues, but I think even a solid start, maybe 5 innings and 2 runs tomorrow, that would be really crucial to Robert Gasser.
We're at a point, too, where, given obviously Miz's dominance the other night, and then Kyle Harrison yesterday, the bullpen's pretty well rested. We've had a couple off days as well, so obviously don't want this to happen, but worst case scenario, we should be able to cover Gasser pretty well. But I think could do a credit to the bullpen, give them even a little bit more rest going into Wednesday's matchup with a guy who struggled as well, Brandon Sproat, just a little more Brand on Wednesday's matchup.
Yeah, Brandon Sproat will be taking the ball for the Brewers on Wednesday. He had a really good outing his last time out, his best as a Brewer so far, and we touched on that in the last episode. But I don't know who's on the mound for the Guardians.
It's Gavin Williams, if I'm not mistaken, which will be the toughest opponent we'll face in the series probably. I'm not sure who they have Thursday, but
yeah, that Guardians rotation is young and up and coming. Gavin Williams had a good year. He strikes out batters at a really high clip. And the Brewers are a team that doesn't strike out a lot, so I guess we'll see how that combats Gavin.
Yeah, it should be an interesting matchup for sure. And then more that they put out recently, it's going to be not Jacob Mizorowski due with his spot in the rotation on Thursday. They're going to push him back to face Atlanta on Friday, heading on the road. It'll be Shane Drowan, if I'm not mistaken.
Shane Drowan on Thursday.
No, I'm really liking Drowan's development this year. Obviously, we saw him make his major league debut in Boston as a starter. Didn't really do all that well, shifted him to the bullpen for a little bit, and he was excellent out of the pen. But past couple times through the rotation, obviously due to some injuries, Logan Henderson's been out, Woodruff's been out now for an extended period, but I've been really impressed with Drowan being able to cover some of those spots in the rotation, really just go out there and dominate for an extended period. Obviously, he's given up a few runs in each of his starts, but he's been able to go deep into games. He's shown me quite a bit with his stuff, and I'm really excited to see how he continues to go through the rotation and hopefully be a mainstay there for us. Because just being the third piece essentially of that trade, I think if we were able to even get more use out of that, we've seen David Hamilton be a solid utility infielder. Obviously, we know how awesome Kyle Harrison's been. We touched on that earlier, but yeah, if Drowan can continue to develop and just really make that trade even more of a slam dunk for the Brewers and what the front office was able to pull off, I think that'd be great for us.
Yeah, all you can really ask for out of these guys in the back half of the rotation, just keep the game close. Got a great bullpen behind you, and obviously you got reinforcements coming back like Woodruff and Henderson. Probably not Priester this year, but
Yeah, not sure if we're going to see Quinn Priester. He's been struggling in the minors. They might just have to shut him down.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. He's got like the wrist outlet, some nerve issue in the wrist.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully some of those other guys will be back soon. I saw something about Henderson early July maybe, and Woodruff we actually might be seeing as soon as next homestand.
Okay.
From what I've been hearing. Got roughed up a bit in the complex
Cubs?
league, but yeah,
Okay.
it would be.
All right, that's going to do it for episode 2 of this podcast. We're glad you could be joining us. Glad you listened in. Alex and Alex, great to have you both on. Thank you for your insight. And very valuable. And we'll see you after this Guardians series where we can talk about hopefully another Brewers series win.
Sounds good. Thanks for having us, Brent.
Of course.